Let's begin by telling you that at least 8 people have reportedly lost their lives in bomb explosions at 2 different locations in Gwoza town in Gwoza local government area of Borno State. News Central's Umaru Kirawa reports that armed forces have taken over the major streets of Gwoza to ensure safety of the populace. According to our source who preferred anonymity, the first bomb exploded around 4 p.m. on Saturday at Bakin Mararba, where they sell bicycles around the central market area. The second explosion was said to have taken place at Hausari at the scene of funeral prayers of one of the victims. Meanwhile, a young girl was arrested within the General Hospital Gwoza with an attempt to explode another bomb. Now, this evening to discuss this, I'm joined by former chairman for the prosecution of armed banditry and related offences, Zamfara, Abdullahi Shinkafi. Thank you so much, Mr. Shinkafi, for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
And I also understand that we have Buba Hambagda, who is a scholar at the Sharda University Greater Noida in a mathematics department, actually, who will also be talking to us about this. But then we are going to come to Buba if we're able to have him come on air to talk about this. Let me just speak with Mr. Shinkafi. Now, wide-scale violence seems to have pervaded northern states in recent years, growing worse every passing month. For you, why is that so? What is the traction in the north for these kind of insurgent activities and banditry?
The widespread of insecurity in the northern part of Nigeria is the neglect by the northern elites and bad governance. If you look at the issue of insecurity, it has a combined causes. That is the root causes of insecurity in the northern Nigeria. Some of the root causes of insecurity in northern Nigeria is poverty, unemployment, corruption, weak judicial system, weak judicial, weak security apparatus, forced border, and proliferation of smaller and lighter arms and drug abuse. Looking at the proximity of Maiduguri to Chad and Cameroon, that is porosity of the border, and there's also smuggling of smaller and lighter arms into the Maiduguri town or into Borno State. So it is very unfortunate situation where the governors and the northern leaders have neglected the region for many decades. Educationally, we are lagging behind. Infrastructural development, we are lagging behind. And there's high rate of corruption. You see a state governor will be receiving statutory allocation for the federation account, but he cannot conduct election. And this money will be diverted for personal enrichment. So these are some of the root causes of insecurity and instability in the northern Nigeria. The teeming youth are unemployed.
Okay. Mr. Shinkafi, you mentioned quite a number of issues as fundamental when it comes to this sort of violence in the region. But then what now would you say would be responsible for such a violence where you have young girls in their teens or in their 20s who are being used as suicide bombers? This evening, of course, I just read it out about a twin bomb explosion at different locations in Gwoza in Borno State. And one of the suicide bombers that actually detonated the bomb during a wedding situation, event rather, in the state, had a baby strapped to her back. How was she brainwashed? Was it indoctrination? Or why would a lady give up a life, or a young girl give up a life like that just to have people being killed?
This is part of a lack of good governance, because if the girl, she has been educated on the danger of insurgency or militancy, she will not go and detonate a bomb and kill innocent people. So most of these girls, there is many of them who are dropped out of the school in millions. So they are being brainwashed. They have not been told the consequences of killing an individual, a human being, Islamically and also constitutionally. So they are being brainwashed because of the high rate of illiteracy and bad governance in the northern Nigeria. If she's highly educated on the consequences of killings and the penalty of killings Islamically and constitutionally, she will not go and kill an innocent people using a bomb blast. It's a very unfortunate situation.
Okay.
Many of these girls are roaming about and alamajiris are roaming about the street in the northern Nigeria, and they're out of school children in millions. Many schools are not conducive for learning.
Abdullahi Shinkafi,
So
let me quickly
and look into this ghastly acts.
All right, quickly, let me bring Buba Hambagda into this discussion. Buba also joins us virtually this time from Gwoza, I want to believe, in Borno State. Now, Buba, tell us, of course, we just heard Shinkafi talk about various factors, you know, governments being negligent, corruption, poverty, indoctrination, people being brainwashed. But then how easy is it for people in these states or in the region to carry out such kind of dastardly acts, putting their life on the line just because they want to do the bidding of some certain people, have themselves killed? For what purpose? What is the motivation? Abuba, can you please unmute your device so that we can hear you? And try to sit back also. Okay, so we'll try to bring Buba back to talk about this. But then let me just go back to Shinkafi. Now, we've seen recent videos on social media showcasing how bandits have turned their operations into lucrative businesses involving trading with people, kidnapping people, collecting ransom and all that. And you've mentioned some fundamental issues. And you said that the government or the governors, so to speak, most especially governments in the subnational levels, have, you know, been doing things without any recourse. Of course, it seems as though no one is actually holding them accountable. What do you think can be done to ensure that these governors in these states can stand up and begin to fight criminal elements in their state, because they are regarded as the chief security officers of their jurisdiction, but it seems as though they are not really doing anything? Is there anything that can be done to galvanize or push for some sort of security groupings or improving on security architecture in the states?
Most worrisome part of the fight against this armed banditry in the most especially in the northwestern state. Most of these governors are the chief security officers of the state. Monthly, you will see a governor appropriating over 500 million naira for security board. Yet he cannot support the military operation or security operation in their various states. It is a very unfortunate situation. In Zamfara state, the police has only one armored personnel carrier vehicle, APC, functional. And this APC is being stationed at the government house. And all these 14 local government areas in Zamfara state are under siege of this armed bandit.
Okay.
But the police command in Zamfara state, they are under-equipped, understaffed, under-motivated, under-appreciated.
Okay.
So the government has to sit back.
Sorry that I had to butt in, Shinkafi. Let me just quickly bring Buba into this discussion, because we need to hear from him, because actually I want to believe he's in the States. Buba, I was asking you earlier why it would be easy for people to be cajoled or influenced into carrying dastardly acts, most especially when it comes to situations around suicide bombings?
The first thing that Abdullahi Shinkafi told us about uneducated rate of illiteracy can be a factor. But for this particular day in my local government, anybody that claimed to have come for either has surrendered as a Boko Haram, he may not go through this de-radicalization. Before you know it, after 2 days or 3 days, the government will bring that person back to the camp without much thorough investigation. So, particularly for today, it's just unfortunate. It's not even twins bomb blasts, but it's about three. It's about three. One happened at Mararaba, one happened immediately after the funeral prayer, and one happened between Adamundo's house, and one of the military was also a victim. They are all women, they are all ladies also carrying this bomb blast. The problem is, after some people have surrendered to the Nigerian army, instead for them to carry them through maybe so many things before bringing them back to the society. Before you know it, they are being given a certificate that no, they should just go and integrate into the system.
Buba, sorry to cut in. When you say that these so-called insurgents, of course, should be taken through so many things like what? Because it seems as though from what you're saying that the de-radicalization program of government has actually failed. And some people feel that these bandits or these insurgents, when they're being captured, should be tried and sentenced, probably taken to prison for them to serve time for what they have done in the past and the people that they've killed. Now, it seems as though this has not actually served as deterrent to other insurgents who are yet to be captured and still perpetrating this act. So what are the things that need to be done categorically to deal with these issues?
That was exactly the difference of opinion between our Senator Mohammed Ali Ndume, and the governor of Borno State. I could remember vividly when the senator was given that everybody that surrendered must face trial in the court of law and should serve a punishment. But His Excellency said no, he has given pardon to everybody. You see the two at loggerhead. Who is the chief executive officer of the state? Is the governor. So nobody seems is at the right side. Nobody. They have put Ndume's opinion under the carpet. Now the governor has succeeded. Okay, after succeeding, instead for him to organize a thorough course, a thorough press, a thorough preaching for everybody, so that everybody will know his stand. Unfortunately, but that is not the case in Borno State. Immediately after 2 days, after somebody surrendered at the Emir's palace, 2 or 3 days, before you know it, the person will just come and sit inside the camp. And before you know it, it's now back to bush. Before you know it, now they have started killing. So the best interest already they have defeated Senator Ndume at that time, because His Excellency Governor Zulum said the state belongs to him. So he has pardoned everybody.
Okay. Now,
but Senator was arguing that no, everybody should serve his punishment.
Okay. All right. Let me quickly go back to Shinkafi, even as we round up this particular conversation. Now, you talked about security votes not being expended properly. You've talked about the fact that governors are negligent. Of course, what would you say needs to be done at this particular time regionally now to actually decimate insurgency and banditry in the region? Abdullahi Shinkafi, can you hear me?
I'm fine. Yeah, the governor should find a proper homegrown solution by finding non-kinetic approach and kinetic approach.
But the army is doing that already.
Approach. Yeah, there should be a total military actions against those who are so adamant are not ready to lay their arms unconditionally. And when some people, when some of the bandits are ready to embrace peace, then the government can now go into peace dialogue with this band. Let me give you an example of Shinkafi, where I come from. Bello Turji was declared one of the notorious bandit leader group. But in Shinkafi, for the more than 11 months, there's no report of kidnapping, no report of killings, no report of displacement of innocent people from their ancestral homes, because the community decided to enter into peace with him unconditionally.
Okay, Abdullahi Shinkafi.
Now people go to farms and they don't enforce taxes. You understand? The problem we're having, this armed banditry is a criminal enterprise.
Okay.
Motorcycle lead dealers are included, drug suppliers, some unscrupulous traditional rulers and security personnel, some corrupt judges. You understand?
Okay.
So it is now a baluch. It has a criminal enterprise with the baluch.
Okay, Abdullahi Shinkafi, we might need to just end the conversation here. I want to say a big thank you to you and, of course, to Buba Hambagda for also talking to us on this.